Hello everyone, this is an emergency alert. We need everybody praying for Pastor Wiley Drake. He's just sent out an email indicating the IRS is targeting him. Today is December the 7th, the year 2016. It is 75 years to the day after Pearl Harbor. This is an attack by the IRS, which is a mafia arm of the global Federal Reserve. They are targeting brave, patriot leaders in our country. Pastor Wiley Drake is probably the most outspoken pastor in America for freedom, constitutional values, patriots. He has stood up for Schaeffer Cox, the Bundys, Pete Santilli, many others, too numerous to count. And I would like to bring your attention. I put the screen image on the right of the screen. He just received a letter today indicating that if he doesn't pay $53,000, you'll have the number in front of you. It's close to $54,000 by December the 22nd, that the IRS can seize his property, his church. This is exactly what went down in Indianapolis with Pastor Greg Dixon when they seized his church property and decimated that Baptist church. That's how these global thugs operate. They use the mafia arm of the IRS. They come in and they destroy Christian leadership in America. And that's what they're trying to do to Pastor Wiley Drake. Pastor Wiley Drake is a personal friend. He is the hardest working man, regardless of how old he is. He is the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. He is very outspoken for freedom issues and our founding principles of freedom in this country. And I've put information on the screen of how to reach out to him. Wiley@att.net is his email address. His phone number, he's got several phone numbers. Feel free to call him. Let him know that you're praying for him. Ask him if there's ways that you can help. But for them to threaten to take away his church, he's ran a homeless shelter in California for 25 plus some odd years. He ran for vice president with Alan Keyes, I think back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And he ran for president. He was running for president in the year 2016. He was also vice president of the Southern Baptist Convention at some point in time. So he has a lifelong record of good works. That he has, you'll know a man by his fruit. Pastor Wiley Drake has some tremendous fruit. And now the IRS is targeting him. They want to seize his church property. You know what? That's going to decimate anybody that is being harbored there, that's uses Wiley Drake's church as a facility for the homeless. And we need to keep this in our prayers. We have to stand up. Ed and Elaine Brown will be spending the rest of their life in prison. We saw what they did to Greg Dixon, Pastor Greg Dixon's church. We know what they put Ken Hovind in prison for 9 years, just simply for the stupidest law in the history of mankind, structuring, withdrawing his own money to pay his own bills from his own bank. And now they're going after Pastor Wiley Drake. It's absolutely horrific. Somebody has to stand up to this mafia arm of the United States, which I would call a global government at this point, all being directed by the Federal Reserve, and they have Christian in their crosshairs. Christians who are bold enough to speak out, Christians who are bold enough to stand up for those who are persecuted, Christians who are bold enough to tell the truth regardless of the consequences because they want to please God rather than please man. And Pastor Wiley Drake falls in that category. So please continue to pray for Pastor Drake. Send him an email, let him know you're praying for him, and let's pray this thing does not end with the IRS seizing his property. He is a beacon of light in our country, and we need to come together for Pastor Wiley Drake.
I just wanted to know if the IRS is listening, if they've been targeting the undocumented workers, the illegal aliens, the invaders, the ones in the sanctuary cities and colleges. I would like to know if our taxpayers are paying them or if they're paying their taxes.
The government is using the IRS as a mafia arm to shake down anybody that stands up. Not only that, they're using the Department of Justice and the FBI. They're all corrupted, every single one of them. And we got to stand up. If we don't stand up now, who's going to stand up for us when our turn comes? Please keep Wiley Drake in your prayers.